You won't want to miss Saltburn in theaters.
It's a beautifully wicked tale of privilege and desire, and it stars a killer cast, including Barry Keoghan, Jacob Elordi, and Rosamund Pike.
Written and directed by Emerald Fennell, it's the follow-up to her Oscar-winning film, Promising Young Woman.
Critics and audiences are calling it dark, twisted, hilarious, and sexy.
Don't miss Saltburn in select theaters on November 17th, everywhere Thanksgiving.
Rated R, saltburnfilm.com.
This episode is brought to you in part by Purina. The holidays are here. It's such a fun and festive time, and also a great opportunity to reflect on all the things we're thankful for. And if you're like most people, your pet is somewhere at the top of your list. Purina is dedicated to creating richer lives for pets and the people who love them. From helping older pets think like their younger selves, to making cat ownership a possibility for more people than ever. Purina is helping pets live longer, healthier, happier lives. Your pet gives you so much the whole year round. So this holiday season, treat your pet with Purina Treats. Best-in-class nutrition, unsurpassed taste. From dogs to cats, Purina has you covered for all your treat needs. Your pet is Purina's passion. Head to Amazon.com/Purina to learn more.
Prince Harry spent his life living in the shadow of his mother's tragic death. But when he falls in love, he realizes it's up to him to stop history from repeating itself. In our new series, Prince Harry, Windsor of Change, we'll tell you how a prince without direction became a duke who found a family.
Listen to Even the Rich on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast for all that crap we love to talk about on your bravs. I'm Ronnie. That's Ben over there. Hello, Banoony Tunes.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you doing? Still standing, I see.
Yeah, still here, baby. My voice is a little gruffer for the experience, for the BravoCon experience, but I'm good. I'm still alive. I got to LA from Vegas last night. Now I'm in an Airbnb here. God bless the person who lives in the attached home. I'm going to make him crazy today. How are you doing?
I'm great. You know, I had so much fun watching all the BravoCon content over the weekend, and the entire time I was watching it, I was thinking, oh God, I'm so glad I'm sitting on the sofa. What I could see through the content was sore feet and like achy lower back. I had so much fun seeing everything, but I was just really grateful to be in the comfort of my own home. I'm not going to lie, but it looked like it was amazing fun. It looked like incredible fun.
It was really fun. I met so many of the Bravo accounts, podcasters, you know, kind of our community that I just haven't met. And everybody is so nice. We're so lucky to be surrounded by such a cool community of people, you know, because we're all kind of grown up around housewives. And so you would think it would be bitchy, you know, like we just all kind of take that on with each other. But no, I mean, everybody is so fucking nice to each other. And I was so nervous to go without you because I don't do anything without you, really. And it was so weird to be doing it without you. And you made a joke because you made some really funny Instagram videos pretending you were at BravoCon.
Yeah.
And they're on our Instagram if you guys want to watch them. And follow at Ben Maddelkar. But you made so many really funny videos there. And you made a joke like, I'm from Watch What Crappens. No, I'm not. Ronnie, I'm the other one. Well, just so you know, I know you're just kidding, but just so you know, I really felt like that the whole time because it's like, God forbid you do anything alone one time in your life. Like, it was really cute, actually. Everybody was like, where's Ben? How's Ben doing? How are his appendix
so
doing?
Sweet.
And it was really sweet, but just so you know,
I'm not just the other one.
You're not just the other. Like, if you're the other one, I'm the other one. So it was really nice. And everybody missed you. I didn't talk to one person who wasn't missing you. Also, who knew all of your business, which was really funny. You know, I love his new jacket. And someone's like, yeah, I love that he re-sewed the sleeve from his neck hole to his.
That jacket got a lot of love. It was funny because in the first video, I put on like, actually, you know what's really funny? So that first video, I was just like in a t-shirt and gym shorts, and I put on a backpack, and I put on some slides, and I walked around and did this little video, and then people were like, ha 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 ha, those slides, the fact that you put on those slides were so funny. And I was gonna respond like, yeah, I like thought that'd be funny for the costume, but then I was like, I realized I was like driving my car and I was still wearing the slides. I was like, this is not a costume. This is me just wearing my clothing. So then someone was like, you should put on your jacket you just sewed. So I put the jacket on in the second video, and then everyone's like, the jacket.
So funny.
Jacket got a lot of love.
Well, you also got a lot of love. The Ben got a lot of love at the BravoCon. So, really everybody, our peers out there who do the same thing we do, thank you so much for being so kind to me. Love you guys. Also, like Bravo, those guys are great. Bravo Wear Black. Aaron and Kaya, they're so great. They were my buddies. The Bravo Docket girls, of course, I love them. Ceci was like my date for everything. I was with her the whole time. Ryan Bailey, of course, was fantastic. I mean, so many people. Ether Opal was there, but I didn't get to meet her. I was pissed. I was trying to find her all over. It was weird because I was fanning out trying to find the other podcasters all over the convention, the Housewives.
I was
like,
a little white flag. Just like a little flag, like when you go to tourist places in Europe. Like I remember once going to Prague like 12 years ago with my parents. There are all these groups, and all the tour guides hold these little flags up, but they hold like umbrellas up. It's kind of like a mama duck, and everyone else is just like a little duckling. And that's what you need to be. Just like hold up your flag and be like, fellow podcasters.
No, you don't want to hold up a flag there. Trust me. If you do anything to get any kind of attention, people will be like, oh my God, what's your favorite show? It's other fans of Bravo that are there. So many people were there, and they were also so fucking nice. I saw a couple of fights on Instagram, people fighting in line and stuff. But
really?
Just a couple, which is much better than last time, from what I see on the internet. But everybody was really nice. Like I didn't see one asshole there. Everyone was so nice to each other. They were helping each other. They were giving each other like advice on where to go and what to do. They were so nice to me and you, your spirit. It was really fun.
That's awesome. Well, that's I'm glad you had a great time. We're going to talk more about this on the bonus episode. We're going to get into some of the nitty gritty of your full experience, and I'm going to just like pepper you with lots of questions. And
also, you'll be able to tell us what actually happened in BravoCon, because I don't know. I walked around, I got lost, and I talked to people literally the whole time. I sat in a couple panels and I was like, these people are fundamentally uninteresting. And I walked.
I need them to be edited and presented to me in a nice package.
Seriously, like, sorry, Summer House, but no one needs to listen to the Summer House people converse. You know what I mean? Not good.
Yeah.
So, I got the hell out of all of those panels, and went to talk to people because that's what I was there for. But you did catch a lot of the content, so I would love to hear both what actually went on when I was supposed to be paying attention, and I'll tell you what was going on outside of all those rooms.
I will try to, because like I like took in a lot of stuff, but like you, it was always like these sort of random bits and pieces. But there was a lot of funny stuff. I did actually consume a lot of BravoCon content. Now that I think about it, I was on my phone so much. Like I took on a lot. So yeah, we're gonna talk about everything that you saw in person and I saw virtually, and I'm really excited to dive into that. But we actually have business to do. We have business to do, which is that it was Potomac debuted last night, or premiered last night. Season premiere Potomac. By the way, we mentioned this last week, but we're just going to reiterate it right now because there's so much stuff on, etc. We're currently, at the moment, because anything can change, Below Deck, Winter House, and Married to Medicine are currently, we're not going to be recapping them for the moment. But everything's in flux. You never know. But just we have so many housewives, and they're also funny and good. So our episodes are getting longer and longer, and so we're just going to table those shows for the moment. We'll check in, I'm sure, at some point. But if you're wondering where Below Deck is, if you're wondering where the Marriage to Medicine premiere is, etc., Winter House, that's what's going on with that.
Married to Medicine was really good, though. It was a good premiere. I hope everybody watches it. They brought on Dr. Gregory's new fiancée. dun, dun, dun.
I haven't watched it yet, and I haven't even watched Winter House from last week. I'm gonna do that later this afternoon after we're done recording, is catch up on my Bravo. But I definitely saw a clip of Married to Medicine, where Heavenly was being so messy. Heavenly was being so heavenly, where someone thanked Simone for a recommendation to a specialist for her fibroids, and Heavenly's like, well, why didn't you recommend her to Dr. Jackie? And Simone's like, because this is a specialist. And she's like, but what about Dr. Jackie? She was trying to like pit Simone and Dr. Jackie against each other so hard. And Simone's like, because it's a specialist and I will recommend someone to Dr. Jackie if I need them to go to Dr. Jackie. So good.
That was Heavenly. She just tried it with every single person. And then she's like, so, who is she? Who is she telling? Oh, because Phaedra came on, so she's like, "So Phaedra, tell us, did you sleep with Dr. Gregory? Is that what you did? You slept with Dr. Gregory, right?" And she's just being trying to start it with every scene. You know, she just came on. She's such a pro now. She's been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
She just comes on and just drops bombs in every scene. But they all know what she's up to, so they don't fall for it as much. You know,
Right. I'm so excited for a post Contessa, well, Anila. I mean, like, I'm excited for a post Anila thing as well. But like, Anila had 2 years. That's like fine. You know, she didn't overstay her welcome to me. Like, she probably didn't need a second season, but I wasn't like, oh, the show needs to get rid of her. But Contessa, they needed to get rid of Contessa a long time ago. And this is someone who liked Contessa in the beginning. They need to get rid of her a long time ago. And I feel like now I'm really excited about this cast. So I'm excited to see what the season's
well, pretty good. The new lady is named Letitia, and it's spelled with T-E-A as Letitia. And I love that they just get Lati, you know, because she's going to come in. She's going to stir it up.
With the T.
And she is. And she's definitely ready for reality TV. And Gregory admits it all, you know. He's like, yep, she slipped in my DMs. And then they show the DM, and she's like, I'm here if you're ready for like hearts, baby emoji. I don't know if she put an eggplant, but it was like very obvious what she's up for. You know,
like, I'll have your baby.
Pretty much.
I'll give you what
like,
God won't give you.
And he said, you don't even live here. And she's like, I could, or something like that. And so sure enough, it's like a fan who saw her chance and did it and moved and is now on the show. You know, you gotta give people credit for just the drive.
For the like, just basically saying the vision board, the clarity of the vision board to be like, I need to get from A to B. Let's just start with a DM. Listen, it's a lot of letters. They're out of order, but it works.
Do I approve of your actual goal? No. I mean, the being on TV, of course I do. Getting it through Dr. Gregory, I feel for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that's the road you had to take. So I feel like sometimes it's more important not to concentrate on the journey. You know, everybody says the journey is most important, not the destination. I hate that. Like, don't tell me that while I'm sitting on fucking Southwest in a middle seat. You know what I mean? I want to get to the destination.
God, but I do feel bad for anyone who's like, well, I want to be on TV. Let's see who's divorced on TV and who I can DM, and then I can just say, like, I can just give them what they want. She's like, well, let's see. Let me open up the directory. Well, I guess Dr. Gregory. Okay, so she like hitches her wagon to Dr. Gregory's horse, and then today it's like Mauricio getting divorced. She's like, damn it, I should have waited a little bit longer.
So is that true that they're getting divorced? We're going to have to talk about that in the
We'll
bonus.
talk about that in the bonus episode, because that's something I saw from BravoCon.
But she just like happened to slip the word divorce in there during an interview at BravoCon when their show just premiered, just accidentally. Oh, come on. I don't know. I don't buy it. Okay. But it's Kyle, you know, and I'm like that. Okay.
It's
so
Kyle.
we get the coming this season stuff. And then we get serious music.
Very serious music. Let me just say, by the way, so we did a breakdown, trailer breakdown for Potomac a few weeks ago. My impressions coming out of that trailer was like, it was to me actually a certifiably bad trailer. I thought it was not good. It was not a trailer that made me want to see the season, beyond the fact that like I love all the cast members, but it made me concerned that this is going to be a flop season. And so I kind of went into this premiere apprehensive that the premiere was going to be really bad. And so then seeing the trailer again, I was really apprehensive. But I want to say, I thought it was a really good premiere. I had no problems. So just want to say that.
I just love seeing them all again, you know?
They're so good.
I love that we're finally taking the note of like, you have to confront Robyn at some point, even though it's obviously fake. Like she knows Giselle's going to call her over and Giselle's going to do it in the best way she can, the most non-offensive way that she can. But still, it was kind of nice to see. It was nice to get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I forgot that there was this whole controversy. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Because it's not really even broached in the trailer. I think that's why I forgot about it. The trailer was just like, oh, a buffet chafer fell over. Like the climax of the trailer was a buffet chafer falls over. And I was like, really? What's going on with the season? But then when it opens with this, you're like, oh, yeah, there's like stuff to talk about. We have a season here. Good.
Yeah. So we see shots that are like House of Cards. They're like reminiscent of House of Cards, like very serious DC shots of very serious housewives.
Yeah.
And then we just hear
it's like Arlington Road.
Like what?
It's like Arlington Road. Remember that movie?
I don't think I saw that one. What was that about?
It was really good. It was with Tim Robbins and what's the name of that? Hope Davis.
You know what I always love
Is that
about
her name? Hope Davis? Right, Hope
yeah,
Davis,
there's a
yeah.
Hope Davis. She's a great actress. But one of the things I've always loved about Hope is that she has an opposite name. Because like if you look in Hope Davis's eyes, she's not hopeful at all. Like that is one of the saddest looking. She's very sad and angry looking in her eyes. Like that's what she brings to her roles. And I love that her name is Hope. I think that's so funny.
I know. I've been waiting. I have to say, I've been waiting years and years and years for Hope Davis to turn 70, because when she turns 70, she is going to be taking on all those Piper Laurie roles. R.I.P. by the way. A few not so long ago, I said that Piper Laurie died, and everyone's like, "Guys, she's alive." But now, unfortunately, she has passed away.
Do you know
but
how many actors we've killed on this show?
But Hope Davis, you know, when she turns 70, she is going to be the master of taking roles where she wears a large cloak and her hair is up in a bun. And like that is going to be just her thing. And I'm so excited for it. You know, she'll be showing up. She'll be like, I came from across the pond, you know?
Yeah.
She'll be great.
That's funny. Okay. So anyway, we're getting shots of DC and we hear an echo, you know, in the meeting I had with the lawyer, we were talking about a prenup, and the question was posed, do you put in an infidelity clause? And Juan saying, I don't think that that's going to be an issue. Infidelity? What?
And then we see like shots of their wedding, and then we see like dead cherry blossoms, and then
crushed on the ground. I mean, we just see cherry blossoms that have been like stepped on the ground and just ground into the ground.
Because last season started with like them all gathering at the cherry blossoms on a blanket, you know?
Yeah.
So let me see Giselle saying, where do we begin? Juan and the girl in Canada. And so we see all the headlines, the cheating, and this whole ridiculous story. And Giselle says, I know that this is like eating her up, that everyone is poking holes in her marriage. Now we really know what's going on beneath the surface. I
love the headline, Robyn Dixon admits husband Juan cheated because he was bored. That's an amazing headline.
I meant an Uno. So so one thing I am worried about with the season is they are really leaning into silly post-production things. So we see their house, the Dixon household, and then it flips around and then turns blue. It's like, and then they're playing like Stranger Things music, and it's like the upside down, but the Dixon household. And I was like,
Except
okay,
it's called Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. So then we hear the podcast audio from Reasonably Shady,
and Robyn saying, yes, Juan is an idiot and communicated with this woman on Instagram, but the young lady comes forward, she shows this hotel receipt with his name on it, and then we see that she's telling Andy. She's like, and she tells him she lost his wallet in the casino and can't pay for her hotel room, so he felt bad for her, and he goes to the hotel and puts the card down. It's not like they were physical. Girl, come on now. Come on.
Girl, like, why? At what point is someone going to say, unless I missed a part of the story, at what point is someone going to say, why did this random girl message Juan Dixon because she lost her wallet? And why did he respond? Why does someone who's been in the public eye since long before Real Housewives of Potomac and knows the way the game is played, why did he respond to a random girl saying she lost a wallet in a casino? And like, why is it on him as a celebrity, as a public figure, to go help her?
Well, they were very good friends on DMs. So that's
they already were friends on DMs.
I'm being sarcastic when I say very good, but I think that they had like some kind of DM talking relationship, which honestly makes it worse. Like some lady from out of town that just starts talking to you in DMs. It's like, yeah, I actually knew her from talking on DMs, so of course I helped her.
No, sorry. Like no. So
then,
you know the grifters. Come on.
Yeah. So then Karen says, I know she wants to believe her man, but whoa, he signed a receipt. And Giselle's like, okay, yeah, so that should not have happened, but they've gotten past that. And Karen's like, you just got outed by a Canadian woman. And 5 seconds later, you're in the laundromat with the woman you used to work with.
So yeah, now then Giselle's like, yes, this is a young lady that Juan used to work with, and it just doesn't look right. It just looks bad.
Can I say thank you? I know you don't love the editing tricks. I loved when she said he was with the girl in the laundromat, that they cut to laundromat washers in black and white. They were like, look at these extra dramatic washers and dryers. Dun, dun, dun.
That was. I also just have questions. Well, I guess we'll get to that when we get to the Robyn and Juan scene. But I have questions about why they even were at a laundromat. I mean, why are they going to a laundromat?
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens On.
It's almost that magical time of year.
Speaking of, what's your favorite Christmas story, Ben?
Hands down, the Grinch.
Same.
It cracks me up that he hates all the merriment.
Right, and he steals everyone's presents.
But then it's like so heartwarming at the end when like the whole town is still singing and he realizes that there's more to Christmas than just gifts.
Oh, I know. It hits me right in the feels.
Best part is, Wondery has a new podcast starring the Grinch. And I think there's someone who wants to tell you more about it, Ronnie.
Hi, it's me, the Grand Poobah of Bah Humbug, the OG Green Grump, the Grinch. From Wondery, 'Tis the Grinch Holiday Talk Show is a pathetic attempt by the people of Whoville to use my situation as a teachable moment. So join me, the Grinch. Listen as I launch a campaign against Christmas cheer, grilling celebrity guests like chestnuts on an open fire. Your family will love the show. As you know, I'm famously great with kids. Follow 'Tis the Grinch Holiday Talk Show on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Commercial.
So then Ashley's like, and then now there's like another picture surfacing of Juan in a nail salon. And Giselle's like, yes, the nail salon was too much for me. I was screaming and yelling when I saw it. I gave an extra because I was so mad.
You're really leaning into the Giselle.
Why not?
So let's see. We see another headline. It's like, Juan Dixon spotted doing laundry with a beautiful woman. Messy rumors start. The woman speaks out and bubbles come out of her mouth. So
the woman is reported to be the Snuggles Bear.
So Ashley's like, and then there are new pictures of Juan in a nail salon of all places. And then Ashley's in like this bikini top made of pleather feathers and big diamonds glued to the nip part. It's kind of like little pleather mermaid, and I love it. I love this chapter. I'm not sure what she's doing, but
oh, by the way, speaking of mermaids, I have to issue a formal apology to the audience. I'm surprised how often I've been correct about this all weekend, but when Ray and I were doing the Beverly Hills recap on Friday, we were talking about that Peter Pan production that we were talking. Remember when we were talking about Peter Pan like 2 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. The PK Peter Pan and I incorrectly stated that Dorit was Wendy because I thought she was.
Right? Yeah, I said that. I thought so too.
I assume. And, you see the poster and she sort of looks very Wendy-ish. But I have been corrected by many people who have since looked up the proper credits for the cast, and Dorit merely plays a mermaid, which also doesn't quite make sense because I didn't realize there were mermaids in Peter Pan. And then someone on Facebook did pull up that there are some mermaids in the original Disney movie. So either way, I apologize for misattributing Dorit having
Miss Mermaiding Dorit. Sorry about Miss Mermaiding.
When she's a mermaid. She plays clearly the vital role of the mermaid in Peter Pan.
Well, someone wrote us a DM and said, "Oh yeah, this is a thing we do over here. That these are these Christmas shows. I forget what they're called, but it's like a type of Christmas show. Pantos, yeah." And she said, not only is she playing a mermaid, not only are they all on roller skates, she gets pies thrown in her face like every 5 minutes. I think that's worth it. I'll pay for that.
Ray pulled up the review on the show and she read the part. The review said that Dorit gets cream pies in the face for like 5 minutes while she's singing "My Heart Will Go On," and then the reviewer said the performance was faultless. It's amazing.
Okay.
So anyway, thanks to everyone who reached out about that. So then, Karen's like, Robyn is on another planet this year, but the truth will set you free. And then we cut to Robyn sitting down on a sofa in the most Robyn way. She sits down, she goes,
and she's doing the most Robyn thing too. She's like, "Oh, well, I guess I'll tape some pictures into some frames."
So she's doing that, and then Juan comes in with a box. The box is like very much like it's very sitcom-y. It's like, I feel like that character should walk in with a box. So he comes in with a box, and Robyn's like, "Hey, so all those frames we have in the office? I finally got the pictures to go into them, and I thought I'd use these wedding photos." I'm like, listen, I know you're about to do a scene about how Juan has basically been framed by America, but you don't have to be so literal about it by literally setting out a bunch of frames.
Also, wow, you're really doubling down on this, huh? You're putting all your wedding photos out now? Wow. She's just going there. It's like her whole storyline is about Juan cheating multiple times. She's like, "Well, I guess I better tape these wedding photos in the wall. I've got about 100 of them."
Juan goes, all the photos are in black and white. It fits the aesthetic. I'll tell you what, the aesthetic you need to match is the Zillow logo, because I feel like you guys are not going to be in that house much longer.
It doesn't match the marriage aesthetic because there are definitely shades of gray all over the rules in this marriage. These are not black and white rules. So Juan's like, they start talking about their son, how he's grown up and how finally she feels settled after the Bahamas. And she's like, now it's back to real life, which, that's a bitch. It's really hard taping pictures. And he's like, yeah, but that's just, it's part of life, Juan adds a lot this year, but he doesn't really say anything. He's just like, he's just kind of a big shrug. Everything she says, he's like, well, that's life.
That's life. So Robyn's like, well, all the noise that's been going on, like the whole girl with the hotel receipt, here, sit down so we can have the scene that we totally didn't plan out ahead of time. So he's like, once again, that was stupid. That was just foolish of me.
Yeah,
like, wow,
they're both rubbing
really
their
convincing
chins.
Me.
I like that they're doing like their actory, like, let's rub our chins while we try to figure this out.
They consulted with Drew Sidora beforehand. They're like, what technique should we use from Uta Hagen to really sell this scene?
So she's like, what about the girl with the hotel receipt? And he's like, well, like once again, I mean, that was foolish, I guess. That was just foolish. And she goes, yeah, but, then we chose to move forward and get married. I wasn't really expecting the firestorm that came out of it, though. Like when Jell addressed it on the podcast. I mean, God. And he goes, I told you not to do that. And she's like, yeah, but people really took what I said and ran with it. Yeah, because you came on the podcast full of shit. What do you think is going to happen? We're not all you, okay? We're not all trying to hold on to this bullshit for whatever reason.
Yeah. And so then Juan goes, yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, that was just me being nice. I mean, I've given random homeless people $20,000 $50 at a time. Even non-random homeless people who are just like very intentionally homeless, I have given them so much money, and like, 'cause I just want to do a good deed. That's who I am. I'm good deed Juan Dixon, who sometimes doesn't report sexual assault, but I'm a good deed person, you know?
Yeah, not only doesn't report it, like covers for the person. Like, that's terrible.
Just doing good things.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
By the way,
me.
Juan,
And I love that he relates it to a homeless person, because he's like, but the lady was here to see a player from the Ravens, you know, who's also DMing me, which sounds totally innocent. And she went to the casino and lost her wallet. So she reached out to him, and he's like, and you know, it's like, technically she was homeless. She didn't have anywhere to stay. So I got her the hotel room. You know, I know it sounds weird, but it also sounds like me, right? Because I help the homeless.
I help the homeless and the hotelless. And so, by the way, Juan now painting himself
but
as
not the toothless.
hotelless, not truthless. Well, that could be a good name.
Yeah.
So I love that Juan is now trying to paint himself as this like generous people person. That's just what he does. Meanwhile, we've seen for 7 seasons him like begrudgingly ever appearing on camera. Like, you're acting like you love doing charity, and yet you barely even help out your wife when she wants to do scenes with you. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to be like, oh yeah, I'm just like happy-go-lucky Juan Dixon doing nice things for people. I'm like, we know the real Juan Dixon. He's like, shut up, Robyn.
Yeah, and he goes,
Can't fool us.
and Robin's like, look at me, I'm telling Juan, look at me standing up for myself, America. So she's like, my question is, you're at a hotel room with a woman. Why didn't you go for it then? I just don't understand your logic. And he's like, with her? I mean, did you see her? Oh, really? I'm sure that someone you were communicating with in your DMs that also was about to most likely bang a Ravens player is fugly. Is that what you're trying to tell us, sir?
So Robin's like, well, I never saw her. You saw her. And he goes, I didn't do anything. But you know what, though? It was on me. I fucked up. Here, I thought I was just like helping the housing crisis by assisting this young woman. But, you know, it was my fault.
I'm just too nice.
Like,
just
too nice.
Too nice.
Well, you shouldn't have been friendly with her. He goes, I'm too friendly. I'm too nice. Let's roll the footage of me being just too friendly over the years on this show.
Just him rolling eyes every time Robyn walks into a room. So Robyn's saying they worked through it, and it's been a year and a half, and for people to judge me for not sharing that while preparing our wedding and stuff is ridiculous. Of course, because you spent the last season going, of course you have to share it. It's your relationship. You're on camera.
Yeah, you spent a season doing that, and then when people asked about your relationship, you said everything was fine.
Hypocrite.
That's why people were mad.
Yeah, you're a hypocrite.
I don't think anyone actually even cares too much about what Juan did. I mean, his cover up is ridiculous, but I think it's like, look, if he cheated, if he stepped out on you, but then you talked and you settled it, you figured it out. Like, I don't think any of us actually, I think most people would be like, sure, that's fine. But you lied to your cast members and to us, and then make us, that's almost like they're trying to get away with something, and the audience does not like that.
Yeah. So then, we see her talking on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy's like, oh no, this is a reunion, I think. And she's like, well, and I'm sorry, my notes are so confusing. Andy said, she thought you were going to bring it up, Karen. And Robyn's like, oh, Robyn is so lazy on this show that even when she has a storyline, she needs me to make it happen. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so then Andy starts talking about how, starts talking about the Candace reaction, and he's like, hey, I heard from Candace today, and she's really angry and disappointed. She feels really betrayed by you. And then we see this like long rant from Candace about Robyn and, you know, not being honest, yada, yada. And Robyn's like, the minute I heard what Candace was saying, it was actually quite shocking because last year I showed her as much support as I could.
Yeah, because you knew your husband was cheating and you wanted to be able to say just this. How could you do this to me when I was supporting you against the rumors that my friend started to detract from my husband cheating?
1, Act 2 starts now. They think that our relationship is fake and we have an arrangement. And of course they don't believe the story. Now it's your line, Juan.
Well, of course they don't believe our story. I mean, it sounds weird. but it's true. I'm a nice. Hold on, I see someone out. Do you have a home? Do you have a home? Okay, you do. Okay, we'll take this 50 anyway. God, I can't. She's ugly, right? What a 10. So anyway, yeah.
This is why I started my charity, which is bringhomelesstothelaundromat.com. Okay, and it's just I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy who just wants to do homeless people's laundry.
And she's like, okay, this is my favorite part. She goes, I know it sounds crazy, but the reason I chose to believe it is because Juan wouldn't make something up that's stupid. And Juan goes, yeah, I'm just not that good. I'm not that good of a liar. It's not a good lie. What are you talking about? Why are we pretending that Juan is like Delvey levels of good lying? This is terrible lying, sir. You get no credit for good lies here.
No. And also, Robyn, I have to imagine that what happened was you caught Juan, you confronted him, and he had to come up with something off the top of his head, and then he had to stick to it. So we stuck with the bad lie because guess what? People are not always really good at coming up with lies on the spot. If he had time to plan, he would have a much better story. But instead, he was probably coming out of the shitter, and you're like, what's up with this receipt? He's like, and tells this whole yarn. I watched this hilarious silly game show that's been around for, I guess, like years, but I'd never seen it before, called America Says on the Game Show Network. And it's kind of like Family Feud. And basically they give like a phrase like, one thing I like to eat with cheese is blank. And then they have all these like blanks that you have to fill in, and they give the first letter. And you'll say like B, it'll say like C. And so people say cracker. But under pressure, all these people start saying the craziest things. They go, gasoline, turkey, asbestos. And you're like, what are these guesses? And they say like literally the first thing that comes to their brain. And that's just proof that like Juan clearly was a contestant on this show, and that's where this lie came from. People don't lie very well.
What's the show called?
America Says. It's hosted by the guy from Best in Show. I forgot his name. Michael. I forget his name.
I know his name, but I can't remember it because I'm on the spot and it's like a game show. I'm like, turkey.
I almost took a video of these people saying, there was one part, okay, there was, wait, I have to say this. There was one part that was like, I forget the clue, something that you keep away from dogs or something. And so one person goes, grass. It was like, wrong. And the next person goes, I don't know, grass. Like, The next person's like, potatoes. The next person, grass. I was like, stop saying grass.
Okay, so we get back to this thing. Like now, it's exacerbated because people saw you in this laundromat. Okay, and with Coach Bree, I guess that's her name. So he's like, yeah, but who cares? Because they saw me in public, but they don't know that was work. Okay, I mean, I'm with my coworker at a nail salon. You know, men and women chill together all the time. You know, I mean, just because Coach Bree is a beautiful, attractive woman, you know, I thought, you're not in a home right now. Let me house you in this nail salon.
Homeless, not pedicureless. Okay. But why is he going to the laundromat? And I guess he says at some point in here that it was to wash the team jerseys. So are you telling me that your college basketball team does not have like laundry facilities, and you're saying you can't bring those jerseys home to use your own washing machine? This was very strange to me.
Well, we see a picture of her, and I think we see a picture. Maybe I just saw it on the internet. I don't remember.
I don't think. Yeah,
but she does look just like Karen. Maybe I saw it on Reddit. She does look just like Karen, like a younger version of Karen, and she doesn't have blonde hair, which I thought she was going to have blonde hair, but she does look similar to Karen.
She does. But I do have to say, that being said, if they're having an affair, it is funny that they would post an actual Instagram story together.
Yeah.
But then again,
I don't think those look like truly affair-ish either. I think the hotel one sounds more affair-like.
The hotel,
right?
I agree. The hotel one is the one that's the most.
Because if it's an affair with this Coach Bree, then it's a long-term, really comfortable affair that they're obviously dating out in public. I mean, these are not subtle. These. Yeah, let's just go to a public laundromat, you know? So, okay.
So Juan's like, you know, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. And so when people see an attractive dude, that's that's me. With an attractive woman, they're just going to think all sorts of things. Like what a good ambassador to the unhoused community. That's what they're going to think, hopefully.
God, that guy's helping another homeless person. You know what? He really has the talent of finding hot homeless people. It's amazing. If homeless people ever need an ad for help, he definitely could cast it, So then Juan's like, yeah. Robyn says, oh my God, and on top of you losing your job, I mean, this is terrible. That's devastating. And he's like, well, it's not devastating, Robyn, but it is hard because I was very passionate about it. Yeah. And he goes, oh no, he goes, but I guess we didn't win enough basketball games. You didn't protect your fucking players from being sexually harassed and revenge porned and blackmailed. What the fuck are you talking? This is not even... This is terrible. He knew what was going on. And for anybody who doesn't know, it was an assistant coach, right? Who was doing it?
An assistant coach.
Or was it? No, it was the doctor, like the team doctor, right?
No, I think it was an assistant coach who I think actually used to be a player on the team and now had become an assistant coach. And I think the story was something like maybe there was some catfishing that led to...
He was pretending to be a woman, and he was getting dick pics from this guy and then started blackmailing him like, I'm going to send these pictures if you don't do more. And so he started blackmailing him into doing more and more and more until it was it having sex with it? I mean, I don't even want to say because it's a legal thing.
I don't remember,
and I'm
but it was
an idiot, but it was from last year, but it's really bad. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of blackmail. And then this player apparently went to Juan and Juan did nothing and covered it up. I mean, it's bad. And he doesn't deserve to work anymore.
Poor kid was probably totally, that's terrible. Yeah. Terrible to do someone. So Robyn's like, well, and now the public thinks that you lost your job for another reason. And it's like, yeah, it's unfortunate that the things came out, just like the stains at the laundromat, but nothing is factual. And Robyn's like, yeah, and then to have people almost rejoicing that you lost your job because they think you did something wrong.
He did do something wrong. Juan's like, yeah, well, they're miserable because I didn't do anything, like I don't do anything. I don't party. I don't drink. I'm not social. I'm not on social media. This whole story is about you DMing somebody and having to go give them money. So excuse me, how'd you do that?
Well, no, he says I'm not all over social media. Like he's not like someone taking photos all over the place, but yeah, still. And Robyn's like, well, you are now, huh? And he's like, stop, that's not in the script. So you know what? You know what it is in today's society? People want likes and they want clicks. That's all they want. I'm like, you realize your wife held your story ransom behind a Patreon paywall, right? You want to talk about people wanting likes and clicks? How about
exactly.
if you want to hear my reaction to Juan Dixon, please sign up.
Yep. So he's like, they want someone to stand up for them when they're being sexually harassed. You know how people are these days. They want likes, they want clicks, they want someone to stand up for them when they're being sexually harassed and threatened with revenge porn. I mean, just ignore it. People are ridiculous these days.
They want so many things.
2023, am I right?
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So now we go to a restaurant which looks much like Karen's spring awakening party or whatever it was last year, but it's like a rooftop bar. It's Karen Hugo walking in, sitting at a high top.
Oh, and look at this. Oh, it's a step. It's a step in the restaurant. Let me go up the step. I just went up a step. Look at this. Is this a table? Here I am at a table.
Is this a table or is this just my assistant / lawyer, Matt, bending over so I could put a cocktail on his back? He was at BravoCon, by the way. There was a photo of Matt walking.
Of course he was. Of course. You think Matt's going to miss BravoCon? Of course Matt was there. Roller skating probably from wife to wife so he could get from place to place. Be from housewife that he works for to housewife he works for. /
auditioning for PK's next Peter Pan musical on the skates. By the way, also, because I feel like I'm going to forget this for the bonus episode, so I just want to mention it now. The waiter from Palm Springs was also at BravoCon. The waiter, not security. And so Meredith Marks took photos with him and everything. And then he had like a day at BravoCon. So that was kind of funny.
I saw him doing something like, hi, you might know me from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's funny.
You know that the guy, I forgot his name, the guy from New York in like Rhode
Martini
Island, or
guy.
they were Martini Mike or whatever. You know, he was like, "How am I not at BravoCon getting my own little segment?" So
The mime from this show is like, God damn it.
I wish I could speak out, but I literally can't.
He's just making a question mark in the air, like with his finger.
So Karen's there, then Candace joins, and they're like just waiting for Wendy, and Candace is like, well, she lives in outer Mongolia, so give her some grace. So Candace is talking about how she's going to LA for some shows, or she just came back from LA from some shows, something like that, right?
Yeah, she's talking about how she's been doing shows, and Karen's like, well, let's talk about that, let's talk about stuff, ladies. People messing with Wendy, because Wendy, they make small talk about Wendy. Like, she's like, I'm not drinking because of Lent. And they're like, when's Lent's over? She's like, yeah, I'll drink now. So
yeah.
Candace is saying, like, knew she was Catholic, but wow, she has a rosary, you know? Wow. Yeah. So she's like, couldn't you have helped me with your rosary before? And Wendy's like, well, that's why they mess with me and it bounces off, because I have this rosary. So Karen's like, let's talk about that. I got us together because I wanted to see where you guys are with everybody. Because when I left New York, that was a hot mess.
I also want to point out, Wendy comes in with this outfit. I feel like she looks sort of like a mushroom, right? Like sort of like a poisonous mushroom. She sort of came in, or like a jellyfish. And it was like this big sort of like flouncy thing on the top, and she's like, hello everyone, hello. And I was like, what is this silhouette?
I love that they get so dressed up and they're at Bahama Breeze. You know what I mean? Every time they come and dress like they're going to the Oscars.
I know. I'm going to talk about that on our bonus episode with BravoCon, BT dubs. So then we see a reunion flashback of them all fighting, and Karen's like, well, back to present. We've said some ugly things, and we're all capable of forgiveness, and we can only pray that we come together, because it's our chance to take down Robyn, so we can't be fighting with each other when there's fresh meat on the ground for us.
Unite. Okay, well, I'm okay with Ashley, Giselle. I'm okay with Robyn has some ownership to take, because we can only get along if we're being honest, and the biggest liar is the woman who hid her truth. We were the targets in order to not talk about her truth. Moving her teeth around.
Well, unfortunately, I know it's going to take several years for her to own any of this, because look how long it took for her to move out of that condo.
I still don't even believe she owns the home she lives in. So. Thank God she lives with someone who's so good with the homeless.
So then Candace talks about how she's like, the focus of the entire year last year was about maligning my husband, but we find out she has a whole scandal with her husband. And she's like, and what really blew my wig over there was when she said I was waiting for Karen to bring it up.
Well, I clearly said I was dealing with one's domestic women, not international women.
Well, she behaved with all of us like everything was fine. Yes, she spends an entire year telling you that out of everyone that everyone was going to see you like my true self, and that the only liar was Robyn Dixon. I feel like I'm not saying Karen's line right, but I'm just going to commit to it.
So they're like, yeah, what a Candace goes, it was a deflection. And Karen's like, it was a projection. And Wendy's like, it is clear that you are projecting and deflecting from what you have currently going on. Projecting, deflecting, projecting, deflecting, projecting. Mm-hmm.
Candace is still trying to make the projecting thing a thing. Like, she does the hand thing, like the little clamshell thing that she likes to do when she says projecting. I was like, it's not really a thing. I would love it to be a thing, but it just hasn't done it. It just hasn't. Like, we'll find something for you, but like that wasn't it. The triangle is the thing. So the producer also says, like, asks Wendy if Wendy's been 100%, open about everything in her life, and Wendy's like, yeah. And then they ask Karen, and Karen goes, I am an open book. Karen, an open book. What kind of book? You're like fiction. An open book from the CIA where everything is redacted.
That is some fiction by Matt. Okay.
Karen is the open book that you open up and there's like pages cut out and there's like a key in the inside.
I know. There's nothing. She's like the FOIA version of an open book. You're right. Like, you get that book and it's all blacked out. There's like 3 words in it.
I know. So then Wendy.
Candy. Ray.
Karen's actually a little bit more of like a choose your own adventure if you think about it. She's like, well, let me tell you about the story about Ray and why he wants to move to Florida. He wants to move to Florida because he's unsatisfied with me, page 34. Or he wants to move to Florida because he loves golf, page 36. You chose page 36. He loves golf and he has a new club. The end. You're like, what?
So, and you've heard the rumors that Candace's man is being accused this year of somebody saying that Chris got her pregnant and then made her get an abortion or something. And that's the goss. That's the last I read of it, but I haven't heard much more. And I'm sure they discussed it at BravoCon at some point. But again, I really didn't pay much attention to that. So we'll look up that goss for next time. But they're coming for Chris again this year. So who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, so they're just, then they're starting to say, like, Wendy's saying, like, she doesn't care if Juan cheated, like, and they basically are like, listen, if they have an arrangement, just say you have an arrangement. Just be honest with us.
Oh, yeah, right. That works out. You guys are going to be just totally cool with somebody. You're like, well, we've got an arrangement.
And now they're questioning actually if they're even married because Candace is like, oh, I wonder if they're even married. And then Wendy says, have we even seen the marriage certificate? And Karen goes, she's delusional.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
So I love now Robyn's probably fake married this whole time. And that's probably why she didn't care about finishing the prenup. Gotta love it. So Ashley and her kids are taking out the trash. And she's like, who's going to help me with the trash? And Dylan's like, I've dealt with the recycling like a big boy. Or I'd like to get drunk on milk now, mother. Wah, wah. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. Who's going to help with the trash? Wah, wah. There's no help for you, mother. Wah, wah. Get what I'm trying to say? Trash bot mom.
You
wah,
already
wah.
took out the trash when you got rid of Diddy.
You and Diddy are both trash now. Wah, wah. Sorry, I'm in my terrible twos, except I'm 4.
So Ashley's like, welcome to Ashley Darby's Seaside in the City. And so we get shots of her house while they play pirate music, which I think is really funny.
I know.
Pirate bootied this house away from somebody.
Yeah, we get like a little like house. This is like House Hunters at the end of the episode when someone's chosen a place. Oh, by the way, Dwell Hello is this week, and the episode that we're going to recap is certifiably hilarious. So we really recommend people come listen to that when we record it. So she's like, yeah, the inspiration for the decor is like coastal chic, and like previously, like everything was like really dark and Australian and lecherous, and like I decided let's like trade out Gollum for like some anchors and like waves.
Yeah, I was really sick of sitting on kangaroo skin. So here we are. My slice of heaven, $2.2 million. I'm paying for it. And then she held so America could laugh. And then she's like, yeah, because I had to get out of the penthouse right then. Like, it's definitely different having the kids in the house without Michael. I'm a full-time mom. And then it cuts to the nanny. And it says, Daisy, the nanny.
Yeah. She's like, I don't really have anyone. She'll just be like, here, take the kids for a minute so I can rest. And it's like, Daisy the nanny. She goes, well, except for Daisy. We also see Dylan is like standing on the countertop. And I'm sorry. Yeah. Dean is standing on the countertop. Dean's the older one. And then Dylan is trying to get to the countertop. And Dean's like, wah, wah, give me a hand. I'll help you up. And he takes Dylan by the hand and he yanks very slowly Dylan up to the counter. So they're both standing on the counter, which I feel like neither of them should be on the counter. And this felt like dangerous. And then Ashley turns around and goes, oh, you helped your brother up? That's cool. I'm like, excuse me.
Be careful. I know. Part of me was like, oh my God, if she turns around and sees that and then screams, I hope one of them doesn't get shocked and fall off the counter because she's so worried. And she turns around and she's like, fine. Okay, be careful, boys.
I mean, it was like a beautiful little brother to brother moment of helping your little brother. And it kind of felt like an action movie too. Like, I feel like I've never actually seen that happen except in an action movie. But realistically, they should both be off that counter.
So she's like, what's your favorite part of your house, Bubba? And he's like, I love playing with my brother. Long walks on the sidewalk with the sidewalk that my mother has mislabeled as the ocean shore, and making large bubbles with my spittle. It's plain joy.
By the way, did I see this incorrectly? Does Dean like stab the orange? Ashley's cutting an orange. Does Dean stab it with a syringe at one point?
A syringe?
Did I see that correctly?
I don't
Or am
know.
I... Because that feels like that would happen in this household. Mommy, I'm ready to give the orange your face juice. Okay, give it the Botox.
I'm staying in
Sunday
this.
play.
I'm staying in this Airbnb right now in Los Angeles, and I told this guy I'm going to be podcasting in there. I hope that's okay. I'm really loud and obnoxious, and he's like, "Oh no, totally fine. I work from home, but it won't bother me. The walls are really thin, so I know he hears everything I'm saying." And he keeps vacuuming. He's been vacuuming for 3 hours. Like, do you hear it?
Wow.
Just keeps doing it. It's
but I
weird.
trust it.
What are you doing? Is he fucking with me? Should I
Yeah,
not take it
maybe he
personally?
is.
He just spilling shit up there all day? What's going on up there? I need to know.
He's upstairs.
It's kind of I'm in like a back
it's-
house, and I think, it's in the hills, so it's kind of like multi-leveled, but the floor seems to be right near the top of my head.
Is your back house like actually attached to his house, or is there
Yes.
like some space? It's actually attached.
Yeah, like it has its own separate entrance, but it's...
Why am I whispering? I'm whispering now.
I don't know. I just don't want him to... Oh, God. No. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Also,
he probably heard that.
I'm sitting on a step because it's the only place I can do this. I'm sitting on a step. I put a stool on a step, so if I fall and break my neck, that's why. But look at the view.
Is the step in parenting? Step in parenting.
Now I
What is
really did. Now I really did spill water everywhere. Hold on one
You
second.
spilled water?
Yeah, it's just water.
Okay. Wow. Regular baby Dean over there. Okay. Well, while you clean that up, I'm going to go on with this.
I'm not going to
Wah.
clean it up. I'm just picked up the bottle. But if that happens to me, if you hear me clunk, 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 and I die, I loved you. This is great. Loved you.
What a
everybody.
way to go out. BravoCon and Potomac. So Michael, we find out Michael's name is still in the mortgage, but there's no room for him, and he's only been upstairs like 2 or 3 times, and she's really not sure what she's going to do financially, and hence she's not in any rush to take Michael's name off the mortgage, so that way she has a little bit of security that if something goes wrong, he's there to help her.
Right.
So,
of course. Yeah, and he should be helping her. She's got 2 kids with that guy now. Sucker. So he should pay for that shit. And so she goes to sit on the porch, and she's like, "Oh, my favorite spot, the porch." I'm glad you labeled that. I like when they come back and they forget. Kind of like they have to get back into it. "Hi, Juan. Welcome home. I'm just taping things into a frame." "Hi, I'm home just carrying a box. Here I am on a swing. My favorite spot on the porch." You know,
They're definitely
this
doing a
isn't
radio
just
drama.
audio, right? We can see what you're doing.
I know. Here I am, sitting on the porch, staring at the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. It's like, that's just another McMansion across the street. Like I said, the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, there's a dolphin. That is a Tesla, ma'am.
Oh no, looks like a real high tide is coming through. That's a deer.
Okay, so she calls somebody. Oh, she FaceTimes Giselle, and she's like, "So, what about Grace going to college? That is your storyline. How is Grace going to college and you dating a younger man going?"
It is going well as I sit here in the kitchen, with appliances around me, setting a scene. She's going to college. I'm going to move in with you. What's going on over there, by the way? I saw that Michael was in the Bahamas. With you. Sorry, it's hard for me to say Bahamas. Sorry, it activates my ahs a little too much.
So are you divorced? And Ashley's like, "No, we're discussing custody right now, but we did agree on the kids." "So is he supporting you financially?" And she's like, "Yeah, he did help out with the down payment on my house, and he does pay child support, but I do everything else. I'm raising children alone." Sorry, I thought you were going to say
I laughed.
something. So
No, I was doing an Ina Garten laugh where I go,
So Giselle's like, "Yeah, Giselle's like, we're going to have everyone over together because we need a moment with Robyn. I don't want to call her delusional, but I do want to look at her relationship."
but I am calling her Delulu. So Giselle says the things that Robyn is going through, people don't make it to the other side. People can't handle what Robyn is handling. I mean, a man who cheats at a laundromat, that's just a sad version of cheating. This is a lot for anybody. So yes, my concern is for her mental health, and that's huge.
So Giselle's like, her perspective is different from everyone else, and I just want her to know you look crazy. So they're going to have this little confrontation, a little confrontation. So then we go to Giselle's kitchen where she is finally with her young, hot piece of meat, Jason.
Ooh, Jason.
From Winter
Jason,
House.
Jason is, I've always found Jason to be super, super, super hot. And I feel like he was looking very, very hot in this scene. I was like, ooh, I'm getting the vapors watching Jason around this kitchen right now. Oh, I'm getting Robyn voice. So he's there making sushi, sort of.
It
I
was
guess,
like
with Giselle.
Bible study. I remember Jason reminds me of how I felt in Bible study as a kid, because I grew up in a real religious family. I know that shocks you, but we would go to Bible study.
Did
and
I
would
mention
think,
my appendix came out, by the way?
I would think that sounds nice, but I don't believe it. And that's how I feel watching this scene. Like, Jason's cute and all, not buying this for 2 seconds. There's zero chemistry here. Just saying that right now.
Yeah, the chemistry is a little off, but I was just happy. You know why? I was happy? It's because usually the guys that Giselle has brought around have not been really too easy on the eyes. So I just was happy for just a switch up. I was like, oh, finally. Like, this is a real improvement from Sherman and Jamal and whoever the poor sap was last season that they only showed in flashbacks.
Ooh. So are you saying you're happy for the eye candy?
I need a little bit of eye candy.
So let's see here. So he's making sushi, like he's cutting fish for sushi.
I think it's sushi. Yeah.
And they're talking about the fish. And then she keeps trying to be flirty. She's like, oh, I have a bigger pan. I'm going to bend down and get the pan. You like that? Yes. She's like bending down, like being sexy and dancing, but you know how Giselle dances? And he's like, yeah,
Right.
yeah, very, very sexy. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha, ha.
So she's saying like, well, mama's got to live. I have to live and do my thing. So I did run up on this guy named Jason, and it's a hot young thing, little tenderoni. And she talks about how she met him through Luke and Ashley and everything. And by the way, what is it like? I'm curious to know what it's like to have like your mom dating like a super hot younger guy. Like, what is that like when you are like a teenage girl? I would love to know from someone, because I just literally cannot even imagine that.
I don't know, but I feel like we should all hope for our moms to have that blessing in their life, I mean, my mom's still married to my dad. I hope she bangs a hot young guy. Good for you. Go for it, Rhonda. I support it.
I feel like I could really see a world in which Jason is just kind of like a communal gigolo in like a nice way, in like a supportive
that's
way.
What's happening. I think
like
that's
just like
his
he
gift
goes
to the world.
Yeah, household to household. He's like, hey, I'm here. I'm
think-
here to give you some sexual pleasure.
I think that makes the most. Oh God, sorry, rearranging.
I don't
think
want you
that
to fall
makes
down
the
the
most.
stairs.
I know, I'm being careful. I think that makes the most sense. That he's just kind of sharing his gifts with the world, and his gifts are hotness and penis. So good for you. So she talks about how the kid's going to college and she's, sad about it and stuff, which, of course, I don't care, but, I feel for you. So then, I don't know, it's just a long scene kind of about that and watching them make sushi. So then Angel comes in and she's like, oh my God, stop flirting. There's a child present. She's like, look, I'm going to feed Jason. Jason, open up, sexy butt dancing, put a tuna in his mouth. This is how sexy people do it, right? Like that's
like, Mom, stop. Stop it, Mom.
You're embarrassing both of the children in the room, okay?
Yeah, and then Angel starts saying how Jason really has to try Giselle's breakfast because she makes really great pancakes and everything. And Giselle's like, well, he's not a breakfast guy, yeah. And he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And
he's like, why would you say this? And she's like, because I've been with you in the morning. Wink, wink.
like, Mom. So now we go over to our grifter in chief, Mia. And she's like, walks into an apartment. And she's like, well, I survived. I made it through the carpool. And we see her like doing carpool. I don't know why we flash back to it, but we saw her dropping the kids off somewhere.
Yeah. And so he goes, why did you lock the door? The reflex? I don't know, because they're in a small place now. So she explains, moving out of the big house was quite an adjustment. We went from 12,000 square feet to 1,500, like a closet. Literally, my old closet space is my new living space. So as far as cost is concerned, we can no longer afford $10,000 a month, which is what we are owed on our business. No, wait, what'd she say? $10,000 a month, which is what went on with
I think
our
that's
business?
what they were getting. Oh, no, she said, we can't afford it with everything that's going on with our business right now.
Thank you. What was I doing when I took these notes? I took these notes right when I got back from Vegas, and you can tell. I'm sorry to everybody for stumbling over this shit. I'm like, what was I watching?
I don't have an excuse with mine. Mine, I'm just like, I had pasta. Not the pasta. But yeah, it's so funny, Mia and Gordon, because last season they were so happy to move into this big house, and they're like, here we are, we're television stars now, we have a big house, and they're already downsized like that quickly.
And they remodeled the rental. Remember, they spent all of that that money remodeling the rental. Oy.
So Gordon's talking about this whole situation with the joint, and he says it's gonna be a court case because the company owes him $500,000, and Mia starts saying, you know, Gordon and I, we started developing the joint chiropractic in 2013, and back in September, Gordon was voted out of the family business for reasons that I'm not no longer sure of, and I no longer work as marketing director of the company, so those brochures will just have to move themselves across the table.
I know, yeah, the joint chiropractic's really suffering. They're going to shutter all over the country. No one is there to fix the pamphlets. Okay. Also, you did not develop the joint chiropractic.
I know. I love the way she talks as if they developed the corporation.
She
it's just
literally
they had their
lies.
franchise.
What the hell? She does not care. There was a clip of her at BravoCon where I forget who was interviewing her, but they're like, so, people have accused you of marrying Gordon for money. And she's like, duh. We all knew that.
So Mia's like, why are your family acting like this towards you? And he's like, well, all they said is that I'm not listening. And it makes no sense to get rid of a CEO that's done nothing. I'm like, that's literally why you get rid of a CEO.
You weren't listening when they said, stop taking money out of the company to use for your own personal life, dude.
So now they basically are having a money issue, and he basically is like, well, we got to give ourselves a pat on the back for pivoting so quickly. I mean, of course, once we got through our 2 or 3 months of woe is me, and she's like, babe, you went through a whole depression, and you sat on the sofa for 2 months. To see you was really hard for me. It was so hard. I didn't think I was gonna make it through. I was like, I love how Mia's trauma. She's like, I didn't think I was gonna make it through watching someone be depressed. I think it's the depressed person who gets to say that, not you who just sits there and watches.
Well, yeah, she's like, hello, if I married you for your money, or even if not, even if we didn't know that yet on the show, you just lost everything, and now you're going to sit there and just be lost? Hello, you better get your ass up and get to work. Be depressed later, okay?
Yeah.
Be depressed on your vacation from your next gig. Get up.
So she apparently cursed him out a bunch of times while he was depressed. Get the fuck up. And he didn't like that, I don't think. And, she's like, well, I didn't know. So I guess they started talking about there was an audit, and then she got concerned with the audit.
Oh, the audit came up totally clean.
Yeah.
It was done by G.G. Gordon and Associates. I'm sure it came up clean. Fucking break. Receipts, please.
Yeah, so she was, at that moment when there was the audit, Mia was questioning Gordon, what did you do? And he didn't like that because it was she didn't believe him.
Right. So she's like, well, I got to protect my assets and my kids. And I think this year has been a good year for me, even working through all this adversity. There's lifestyles I need to make in order to stay healthy from the not disease I pretended I almost had last year. She will just hold on to anything. It's so funny. They completely called her out on this for lying last year. And she comes back this year remember when I had that storyline last year about being really, really ill? That was a lie. I really need to take care of my health to stay not really fake ill. Like, what the hell?
By the way, how do you feel about me not drinking alcohol? And Gordon's like, oh, I didn't know you weren't. And she goes, yeah, I told you, babe. Like, we were at the beach and you said you want a cocktail. I said, I'm not drinking. And he goes, yeah, but then at the end you said you'd take a glass of wine. She goes, oh, yes, I'm drinking wine. Drinking wine.
So she's not
By
gonna
the way,
drink. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, Vanity Fair exposing all the the drinking on these shows. How many shows are we watching now where they're like, I'm not drinking? Like, it happens all the time now.
Well, but it's never really that believable, right? I think on New York it is. Like, a lot of those casts are sober, but with Mia, this is usually it. I'm not drinking liquor. Wine doesn't count.
Yeah. She goes, I decided to cut on hard alcohol because, it's like mind and mood altering, and I like who I am without it, so I don't do it. Even Gordon says it's the same amount of alcohol and wine versus a cocktail.
Yeah, but she's basically doing it because she's ruined her friendships with people and is blaming the alcohol instead of her messy behavior, which is kind of a typical thing on these shows, right? Where they're like, it wasn't me, it was the alcohol that whole time. And now I have a sober journey. So everybody has to be nice to them for a year because you can't be mean to a person who's trying to be sober. It's like the rule. So I think lies. So then we go to Candace and Chris having a picnic, and she doesn't like all the bugs. And he's like, okay, well, thanks for planning a picnic outside.
In this patchy grass. Also, we did see the Potomac fawn, but it was hard to see because it was running and it was behind trees. But it was there. I don't know if you caught it, but it was a blink and you miss it moment for that fawn, but it was there.
It's like, I'm not ready for this yet. Juan keeps trying to give me $50. I'm just trying to get away.
So they sit down, and Candace tells us how last year was the most challenging year in their marriage, and it's been a journey, but they were able to have fun and not harp on their drama. So Chris is like, so you glad to be home? And she's like, yes, it feels good not to be living out of suitcases. I mean, those triangles take up a lot of space, and it's just very difficult. Nice to have my own wardrobe back.
And she tells us, I've been performing for the last 3 months. Thank God for labels with marketing dollars. So she's talking about how much it costs to tour because they pay for marketing for the album, but she has to pay for all the tours. And she spent over 6 figures just to get on tour. And of course, the goal is to make profit, with ticket sales and merch and stuff like that. But she's going to get bigger costumes, makeup, highlights, chicken cutlets, titties. It's all going to be there. It's like
listen,
before we go on tour, titties, cutlets, highlights.
I'm always sure to put those chicken cutlets in my shirt before we go on stage. Just look at the videos.
I would like a nice little lift next time we go out.
Well, listen, I think that Candace has nothing to worry about because as long as she keeps trotting out special guest musicians like Drew Sidora, I think that those sales will be through the roof.
Well, they show a few clips of her singing in this. She's really gotten, she was always a good singer and stuff, but I think she's really polished that. I have to say.
I think she has.
She's pretty good.
She was always a little pitchy. It always felt like she had something there, but when she would sing on the show, she was like, happy birthday to you. And you're like, okay, but it seems like she's actually worked out and she has gotten better. But I did feel really bad for Drew that when they showed footage of Candace at City Winery in Atlanta, they didn't even bother showing Drew Sidora on this. They're like, let's not sully this franchise.
Well, there wasn't much to show, but they could have shown it at least at a little clip because wasn't it just like, ooh, and she's like, ooh, okay, thank you, that was Drew. That was Drew Sidora.
That was one of the funniest moments of that dreadful season was Drew Sidora's big musical moment going, hey.
So then let's see. Chris is
Chris asked do you need dancers? Chris is like, do you really need to have dancers or backup singers? She's like, I'm not Alanis Morissette. I'm not Jewel. Okay. I don't have some acoustic show.
Yeah, I've gotta do stuff, perform and stuff.
But is she I think she let me get my voice really high when I say this. But there's not that much of a difference between Candace and Alanis Morissette. If you think of You Ought to Know, that is literally just Candace at a reunion. I want you to know that I forget the rest of the lyrics here. And I'm happy. And I want you to know. Like, that's actually a very Candace thing to say.
It would also be very Alanis to do Drive Back, I feel like. I feel like she could pull that off.
Yeah, Alanis literally has a music video in a car.
Most really think I'm playing. Ugh. I think she could pull that off. You better drive back. And just add a little anger and emo.
You better drive back. When you're driving towards me, drive back. I'm so embarrassed that I forgot that the second lyric was, I want you to know that I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but the best for you both. Like, that would definitely be a Candace thing to do. And then she launches into some angry tirade.
Okay, so after talking about her tour, getting all the small stuff out of the way, we get to the real stuff, which is Robyn's an asshole. And she's like, Robyn, I will acknowledge Robyn was supportive, but then she wasn't supportive anymore. And we see a clip of Robyn at the reunion being like, can we agree that it's probably not the best idea for a married man to be in a hotel room with a single woman? We sure could. Now, can you agree on it? In this
can you agree on it?
Can you agree on that in this current time frame?
Mm-hmm. And so that's basically what this is. Candace didn't like that Robyn sort of hedged there at the reunion. And she goes, thinking of how she moved on the whole story, just, about you being a sneaky link, it just makes me sit back, perhaps even drive back, and say, were you only supporting me and Chris so no one would bring up what happened with you and your husband?
Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
You know what I call that? It's a little bit ironic, don't you think? Just a little ironic. And yeah, I really do think.
And that's a question that I want to know.
Chris, I've got one hand in my pocket and the other on the Instagram button.
Okay, so then we go to Giselle getting ready for this event today. And again, Giselle's doing it outside. She will not let anybody in her house. I mean, she'll only let her own family shoot in her house. Everybody else, she's like, okay, we have more than 3 people here. We will be doing this outdoors, down a hill.
Yes. So she gets her little Costco spread out. Then Shasha is the first to arrive. Tha-tha. And everyone's like sort of like teetering down this hillside to get to this backyard area. It's always so perilous whenever Giselle hosts something there. And Shasha's like, oh, wow, you didn't have to do this for me. Champagne? I'm serious. You did not. Wow. Is that a pun? Is that a pun?
Then Ashley has to come walking backwards down it because she can't get down the hill. So she's walking backwards. And she's like, Hotel Giselle is always under construction. Something's always broken or it needs time needs to be demolished, needs to be caulked. Ashley, you married Michael. You're not allowed to complain about things that are broke down.
That is actually very true.
So they're going to talk to Robyn as girlfriends. And Giselle's like, yes, we've all been in similar situations, but I do think there's some delusion in what's really going on in her life.
I know that Ashley and Sharissa have been through similar situations in their marriages. So I'm like, and you too, by the way. So these are the best people to bring and talk to her and say, hey, we got you. We're here. We love you. Now, talk some shit about Juan for us, please.
And they're like, so Giselle says, yeah, I saw that pic, the nail salon. I had a fit. And I was like, why? What's he doing in the nail salon with a woman? And she said she doesn't care. And she's numb to it. And Ashley's like, well, then that's not the first time. I mean, it's something she hasn't learned to deal with. Like, that's her new normal. She's learned to deal with it now. And they're like, how sad is that? I'm like, would you please stop? Ashley is pretending to be divorced to be completely separated from Michael. You're pretending to have this young ass boyfriend. Robyn's pretending to be married to Juan. Mia's pretending to not be into Gordon just for his money. I mean, come on.
Candace is pretending to have a recording career. So Karen's just pretending about everything.
Karen, yeah, you don't even need to bring up Karen. That's just self-explanatory.
No, Candace has a music career. I shouldn't say that. I think she legitimately has one. So Robyn shows up. They do that thing where they're like talking about Robyn to make it look like she like busted in while they're talking, and she's like, "Oh, there need to be steps here." So Giselle's like, steps, okay, whatever you want, Robyn Dixon, we'll have some steps. So they hug, and then Giselle's like, oh, by the way, you're our special guest. She's like, really? Why am I the special guest? She's like, well, the three of us love you, at least on camera, and 100%. So now it's time for some tough love. You know, you have a tough walkway to get to some tough love.
So she's like, damn, what did I do? And so they tell her, listen, we want to talk about Juan with you. And they all just, it's a big long pause. And so Robyn's like, okay. And Charisse is like, I don't have anything planned to say. So I'm supposed to say something. Am I supposed to do it? Why is everybody looking at me?
I thought I was friend of. Am I supposed to start the theme?
I was getting paid enough for this shit. So Ashley's like, okay, well, when the stories broke and everything, like I messaged you that night and I was like, Robyn, I know this is ludicrous, but stuff was coming out. And I'm like, is Robyn being honest with me, or is she being honest with herself even? And Robyn's just like, before anybody beats me up too badly, I'd just like everybody to look at my fingers, which are kind of sore from taping pictures into frames.
Yeah, but then like when the nail salon photo came out, I was like upset because I've been in that position. Like I've literally gotten pedicures before, and like like where you just. But I've also been in a position where you have to like defend your man, and like it's a really uncomfortable place to be in.
Well, let me explain some things, Ashley. Brianna has worked on staff for 3 years, so that relationship is not new to me. Now the laundromat story is a straight up lie, so that's upsetting that people are out here saying they were hugged up and putting things in washing machines. That didn't happen. There is a picture of them in a well, I guess they did this like as a smart ass thing, but the pictures that's going around is from them in a laundromat holding up Gain or something, and it just says, get a life, people. Something like that.
But by the way, I don't think anyone would think twice about this if there weren't already this ridiculous Canada story. So Robyn's like,
and why would people make up that lie? I saw Juan Dixon at a laundromat with a lady named Coach Bree from someplace. I hope that checks out.
Well, although Juan was not smart in communicating with the female in Canada, he's not dumb enough to be anywhere in public being affectionate and physical with another woman. Yeah, so please look at the history of men cheating on their wives who are in public, like famous public figures who cheat on their wives.
I was going to say, not only dumb people cheat. Okay, very smart people cheat all the time. You're not complimenting him by saying he's too smart to go fuck somebody. One has nothing to do with the other.
I'm just going to roll in a TV like in high school when the substitute teacher's in class, the TV that's on that stand. I'm just going to roll it in. We're going to start playing the scene from Roni where Bethany breaks the news to Luann about Tom at the Regency. People cheat in public places.
Yeah, that's where they do it. So
happens.
Robyn, let's see. So she explains that, and she's like, so who says this? Shasha? To me, the incidents you're saying are two different things. It's Ashley. So she's like, okay, this is two different things. There's a woman in Canada, right? And then there's the friend Coach Bree that he goes to get laundry and nails done with. So we shouldn't conflate the two. And I agree, because I think the Coach Bree thing, you can be friends with a person, and it sounds like that's friendly stuff to do. Go do their laundry with them, right. Hang out at the nail salon. But the Canada lady coming in from Canada sounds like bullshit.
But what's funnier, though, is that Ashley is somehow okay with the Canada thing, but then is like, but she's like, in terms of the nail salon, she's like,
well, if I were Juan, I just would operate with be a little bit more cognizant and aware for a minute.
So Robyn goes, I literally told him, because he was like, oh, I'm going to go to the nail salon. And he's like, you want to come to the nail salon? I was like, I don't want to go to the nail salon. And he's like, well, Bree's going to come. And I'm like, well, okay, but the block is hot, Juan. And he's like, whatever. So, and Ashley's like,
yeah, but that's why he should have stayed home.
And Giselle's like, she's like, well, he's not, the problem is he's not thinking about how is this going to affect Robyn. Nah. And actually, Giselle is totally right. In those situations, it may have been innocent, but if there's already heat or there's going to be press or whatever, Juan is like, fuck it, I'm still going to do it. But Robyn's going to be the one who's going to catch all the heat for it.
And she's like, what do you want me to do? Get mad and throw a shoe at him? I mean, that would help.
Sure, that's a start.
Yeah.
That's a start.
Exactly. I mean, I would prefer you burn all of his clothes and then go burn Bree's house down. But, you start where you need to,
Yeah, just, you know what? Just take the bottle of Gain and just throw it at his head, okay?
Tie him up, put him in a washing machine, and turn it on until he's begging for his life. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, I'm not going to tell him you have to end your friendship because it was fine before. I'm not going to do that. And they're like, listen, we're talking about your happiness. Are you okay? And then it's a big, long pause and horns. And Robyn's like, oh, my joy has been stolen because all of the shit that's been piled on nonstop every day. There's a headline about me every single day. Yeah, because her husband fucks up a lot. A lot.
This is very Jax Taylor. Very Jax Taylor to say, like my joy's been stolen. I'm just trying to enjoy my wife and my kid. But like everyone's writing these things. They don't realize that everyone's talking about me. Everyone's always talking about me. It's like, but it's because of the stuff that you're doing, you know?
I mean, Robyn's different because it's not Robyn. It's not Robyn. It's not Robyn that's doing it. You know, Jax is the guilty one. So Robyn's not the guilty one. It's just Robyn's guilty where she keeps accusing everybody else and like making mess with everybody else about this stuff when she's just being a fucking hypocrite the whole time.
So, here's the thing. The world just wants to tear us apart. My joy's been taken, but it's not Juan's fault. The world doesn't want to, like, literally the world has so many other issues to deal with. The world just wants you to acknowledge this is the most bullshitty story of all time. And like, please, we believe that you're smarter than this. So please don't co-sign this story. That's all the world wants.
Yeah. So let's see. She's like, this has been a pile on. And they're like, we're just trying to help you. And then Robyn goes, so if the girl was, because Cherie says something like, he shouldn't be out with another girl. And Robyn's like, so if she were big and fat and ugly, would you even care? And Cherie is like, babe, it doesn't matter if you're ugly. Like, guys will fuck ugly people. Guys don't care. Okay? Guys don't care. And it's so true. They'll cheat on you with whoever. Guys will stick it in anything.
Yeah, she goes, my ex had some boogers. I mean, I would have never thought he was going to he would have stuck those things into those things, but he did, okay? And like, I went through years of my ex being in various relationships, and honestly, and now Cherie starts to cry, and she's like, my heart hurts for you because it happened. It opens up a wound for me. And I'm not saying your situation is my situation, but it looks familiar. And I gave Eddie 1,000 passes. And then at the end of the day, I knew the truth. And then she says, like, she didn't want to accept the truth. She basically made all these excuses for Eddie. And then he's the one who just up and leaves her. And I think that, like, for her, like, you know, but I think Shasha's basically saying, like, this is fucked up. I protected this guy. I made excuses for him. Like, I should have been the one to leave. But he's the one who then dumps me. So I think Shasha has, like, ding, ding, ding. Like, she's right on all these points.
Well, yeah, because you can see it. You know, if anybody's ever done this stuff to you or cheated on you, you see it. I mean, Juan's so obvious. You know, he's so
just saw it with
obviously
Ashley.
bullshitting, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you just want to believe it until it's time that you don't believe it. You know, you don't see it until you see it. You know, if you're in love or whatever. Yeah. So no one else can really ever do anything, which sucks. But
Robyn goes, are you saying I'm in denial? No, she's saying there's a sale on tuna fish at the store. What? Of course.
Yeah, she's basically like, I saw you on the reunion, or I saw you on the show out of New York, and she's like, you look crazy. Come on.
I love when you said that. I was watching you on that show that came out of New York. It's like, at this point, just say, watch what happens.
So then Ashley's like, you know, I've been making excuses in my relationship because I blamed myself. Like, I was postpartum. I wasn't giving Michael enough affection. But you know what? Finally, there were enough tweets saying you need to leave this asshole that I'm pretending to leave him. And now I have my own dream house. And I love it.
On the shore. And so Ashley says,
you know, I know we're different people, but I don't feel like you're really that happy. And this kind of just feels like a Protect Juan campaign.
And Rob's like, absolutely not. But by the way, protect Juan at all costs. I mean, I meant to say not that. She, look, the woman in Canada, I know the story is crazy, but he would not make up a crazy story. He would make up a better story.
Yeah. And then, so Giselle's like, yeah, she pulls that one out again, which still makes no sense. So Giselle's like, listen, I've learned through my man who is fucking everybody that it's time to put myself first, not some dude. And I remember what you were like. I remember before you got divorced and all the drama started with Juan in the first place, and you're different, you know? Or
Yeah.
no, not before you got a divorce.
But
I
she
remember
remembers
how
what
strong
she's-
you were when you got a divorce, and you're different. You're so different today, you know?
And by the way, Robyn says that if Juan ever stepped out on her again, she would put him out. Like, 'cause they
One
asked,
more
like, would you ever
time. If
do
it ever happens, one more time.
Yeah. And so, Giselle tells us, Juan, she says, I think that Juan actually creates these crazy stories. So that way Robyn says, well, this is so silly that it has to be true. I'm like, exactly. Well, it's either it's like Giselle's thing where he comes up with something so silly that Robyn has to believe it. Or I just believe that Juan gets confronted and he's not expecting it. And he just comes up with a terrible lie.
So she's like, well, what do you want me to do? Get a divorce? Be mad? What am I supposed to do? I just own 170 black and white pictures. And so they're like, listen, we just want you to know you have friends that support you. And she's like, okay, well, I support this. That was fun. This was a great time, guys. Thanks so much. So that was like the easiest confrontation scene ever. They had to address this stuff. So, of course, her best friend's going to do it, in a way. But I thought still the stuff said to her was true. I mean,
yeah, it didn't feel like a bullshit scene. I felt like they were genuinely concerned.
well, I
and
just
they were
mean they were
genuinely trying
bringing
to
it up
intervene.
before she got to the other half of the women who are just going to rail her for it. You know what I mean? They're like, let's get together and have a nice scene about this before. Like,
Yeah,
let's get your story and Juan's story solid before we have everybody else coming in here making a mess.
And it's also a way for them to cover their asses because they can say like, no, we had a conversation with Robyn and we feel like she heard us, so therefore we can support her. Like, if they just have a group scene and they support Robyn, they're gonna look wild. But if they like have this conversation, they can say, we understand where Robyn's coming from and we just want to support her. Because next week, obviously the trailer is like basically Robyn walking to a party and Karen and Candace and Wendy staring at her. So we'll see what happens. But I still thought I actually really liked this confrontational scene. I thought like this is an example of where a show can not be like necessarily like fighting, but it can still be compelling TV or like interesting TV. And so I really enjoyed it. And I thought that was a really good premiere.
Well, I'm glad to have the ladies back. Fun episode. We will talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much for being here. This is on video, so get those on Crappens On Demand. It's my big hands for you. If you want to watch those, that's all on our Patreon, along with our bonus. Today's episode is BravoCon stuff related. So come over there, and we will talk to you next time. Love you guys.
Bye. Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Hitchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg. Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters. Nancy Cease and Desisto.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain. She's quite the catch, it's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.